everybody, welcome back to Life Princess Size with me Pallavi. I'm so glad so many of you enjoyed my last wedding video, and that is why I have brought in flesh a bride to be. This is Niku. Niku, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, sorry, not Niku, that's Nikita, my cousin, and she's getting married this November. And she was so confused and so clueless about so many things. And that's why she turned to me, her cousin, the married one. So, while we were sitting and discussing a million things that were on her mind, I thought, why not make this video and help all of you brides to be who are as confused as this one, as clueless as this one, and don't know where to start. So today's video is all about things a bride needs to know. Actually, it should be things a bride to be needs to know. Alright, so make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell icon, and leave me your comments about this video and what else you want me to do. Okay, so 4 months to the D-Day, almost to the date, and okay.
I am having goosebumps.
Oh no, look! That's for real. 120 days of freedom. No! Okay, so let's get started. As a bride to be, what is the thing that's scaring you the most right now, or what are you most confused about right now?
There's so many things to be confused about, but on the top of my list, I have my wedding lehenga. I've gone through so many choices and I have so many looks in my mind, and I'm super confused. How am I going to look on the D-Day?
Okay. Figuring out the perfect lehenga is of course the biggest hot topic for all brides to be, the biggest point of confusion, and I have a 3-step process for it, and it's going to sound too simple, but trust me on this is what I did, okay? And I was very happy with my wedding lehenga. Firstly, do your research. With jobs and you're only free on the weekends and it's hard, but if you have, let's say, 6 months to plan out your wedding, for the first 2 months just use every weekend that you can to go look at lehengas and research, okay? So of course, if you're in Delhi, go to Shahpur Jat, go to all kinds of exhibitions, go to Hoskas Village, go to the designers, go to Emporio, go to all these places, visit all the designers, visit all the independent guys, go to Chandni Chowk, try on things. That is the first step. So it is time intensive, but it will help you automatically eliminate, let's say, 40 things. You'll try on cheap, red, not me, okay? Okay, pastel. That's something I've always loved. I want a pastel lehenga. So by doing that, you will narrow down your options and you'll literally be left with 5 things in your mind. Okay, theek hai, I'm either going to go in for one of those gold sabya kind of things that I keep seeing all over Pinterest, or I'm going to do something really quirky, if you're that daring kind of bride, okay, yaar, main to Manisha Arora types, I'm going to do something super multicolored, or you'll say, okay, no, I don't want to be so daring, I'm going to play it safe, I'm going to do a plain gold, or just a baby pink, or you'll say, okay, I want a plain thread work lehenga, whatever. So that will at least give you some clarity on what you want to do. Second thing that you need to do, Niku, is you go and figure out who are the guys that are coming in your budget, right? So you'll have you'll have a short list. You'll say, okay, Sabya I love, fine, but Sabya, I'm not giving you 4 lakhs for a lehenga which I'm going to wear only once. So this is not my scene. So for that, at least in my research, I found Shahpur Jat to be a great place, even though Shahpur Jat now has designers who are crazily priced as well. But go do your research, of course. Like July is the perfect time. It's sale season everywhere, right? And Jan again will be sales everywhere. So hit these guys during sale season. And in my opinion, if you'll go by that, off the rack is always better than going in for something customized for your wedding day. Unless you have a designer or a boutique auntie who you trust blindly, I would still never recommend getting a lehenga copied for your wedding day, and I would never recommend getting something made out of a picture or even from that guy's thing, because you don't know what the finished product will look like. You are not a designer. You don't have that foresight to imagine what a complete outfit will look like. And like I was telling you, most of the guys, like all your Chandni Chowk, Om Prakash Jawaharlal, even Ekaya for that matter, will give you unstitched blouses, right? Now when they give you unstitched blouses, the onus is upon you to find a tailor, get it made. Chalo, even if you go to somebody as trusted as Eves, there is still that human element that they might just ruin your blouse. By ruining your blouse, they've ruined the kapda, which means you will now have to look for a new kapda to match that 70,000 rupee lehenga skirt of yours, right? So that is not a situation you want to see yourself in. Even if we leave that worst case scenario out, you could still be stuck with an ill-fitted blouse. For your lehengas, please go to a designer. You don't have to go in for a Sabya or a Manish Malhotra level. There are so many amazing designers who will put together a proper ensemble for you, and they will give you a blouse that fits perfectly. For example, one of my favorite designers in Shahpur Jat is this girl called Priyal Prakash. Priyal does amazing geometric lehengas and she's only into straight lines, simple lines, bold colors. But that girl is so finicky about the kind of fit she gives you. Even if there's one bull here and you're like, "theek hai, I mean it's fine, you know, on that day, how's it gonna matter?" She will not let you go till that blouse is fitting perfectly. And that is the kind of detail you need for your wedding lehenga. The third thing, and I know this will sound very cliche to all of you, is just be happy in whatever you're wearing. Because on that day, if there is something playing in your mind that, have I made the right choice? Is this looking appropriate? It will show on your face. So just follow these 3 steps and I guarantee you in no time you will have your perfect lehenga. Fire away, bridie!
The next point of concern is the makeup artist.
For finding the right makeup artist, I would recommend to you first and easiest thing is go through references. Look up pictures of your cousins, of your friends who got married. If you like somebody's makeup, just ask them for the reference, go get a makeup trial, and that is usually the simplest and the best way to find a makeup artist because you have seen somebody's work. See how they work on your face, and honestly speaking, the most important thing in picking a makeup artist is finding somebody who you like as a person, who you can gel with, because this is the person with whom you're going to be spending the maximum amount of time on your wedding day. You'll probably meet your fiance or husband for like you literally get to spend maybe an hour and a half with him on that day, let me warn you. But you will spend at least 3 hours with your makeup artist that day, and that is how your wedding day is going to start. So make sure you find a makeup artist who you like, who you gel with, because if you start your day with a sadu makeup artist or with somebody who's got too much of an attitude, you're going to start your wedding day off on a bad note, right? And that is the last thing you want. Now the other important thing, of course, with finding your makeup artist is finding somebody who fits in your budget. As we all know who have been researching for our weddings, the budgets for whether it's photographers, lehenga, jewelry, makeup artists, everything is hitting the roof and it is so hard, which is why I said go through your references, go through your friends who got married. If you don't have any such references or you have people who are not willing to share their contacts or you weren't happy with their work, WedMeGood has a great directory of a lot of makeup artists, all split up by the budget. So again, go through their pictures, see the budgets, and maybe shortlist a few people out of that. But the most important thing with choosing a makeup artist is getting a makeup trial. Now most makeup artists nowadays charge for a makeup trial, whether it's 2,000, 5,000 depending on the artist, and usually if you book them, they will adjust that amount with your final booking amount. So you have to go in for a trial, and when you go in for a trial, I have a few tips for you. Make sure you wear something which is a broad neck, okay? So, and a solid color, so that when you're looking at your face, you're only looking at your face, there's nothing else distracting you, okay? Make sure that at least a week before you go for your trial, you have bleached your face and you don't do any such harsh treatments just before your makeup trial, right? Make sure you get a good night's sleep the day before your makeup trial, because if your face is puffy, you're going to blame it on the makeup artist and say, "Arey nahi, isne to acha makeup nahi kiya," right? So from your end, do everything you can before you go in for a trial. Make sure you're having a lot of water every day, and this is in general, not just if you're getting married. Keep having water, okay? Also, if you have your outfits finalized, make sure you carry the dupatta and the blouse to your makeup artist, because that will help them figure out what kind of a look to give you, right? Do your research. Everybody has a million pictures at their fingertips thanks to Instagram and Pinterest. Find images of makeups or the kind of looks that you like. Show them those references. Okay, this is the zone I want to be in. These are the clothes I am wearing. Please show me what you think will be correct. Fair enough? That's the simplest way of doing it. Ideally, get them to show you on half your face a Sangeet look, on half your face the wedding look, morning look, night look. So you will get an idea of that person's skill, and you'll also get an idea of what looks good on you. Like, I tried smoky eyes during my makeup trial and I hated it because my eyes are very deep set and smoky eyes did not look nice on me, or at least I didn't think. And I'm a very, day, pastel, pinky kind of person, and that's the look I eventually got, and that's what made me happy. So you have to know what you like, what you want, and then test the person accordingly.
That's a very logical piece of advice, I must say.
Which I know brides to be with this whole frenzy, it's hard for you to kind of keep that in mind. And it's, when you're going through all this madness, it's the basics that slip you by. Okay, what else?
I've got my venue done.
Okay,
that was the first thing that we did.
Like I said in one of my earlier videos, as soon as you have finalized the boy and the date, go fix your venue. So good girl has done that.
I followed it.
Yeah.
So the next question is, how do I finalize the decor? How do I go about it?
Okay. Another very tough question, because when you go to book your venue, it is very hard for people like us to stand there and visualize a wedding over there. I mean, it's just beautiful lawns, hopefully, it's just grass and a hall. And how do you just picture where everything will be? So, this is for those of you who aren't hiring a wedding planner or an event planner, because they will, of course, take care of that. If you're not getting into something like that and you want to be in charge of planning your own wedding, the decor and everything, so it is of course going to be difficult. Number one, see if that venue has a panel of decorators. Okay, you don't have to make any money commitment. Meet with all of them. Have good 2 to 3 hour meetings with whoever are the decorators on the panel of the venue. Okay, ask them, what have you done here? What are the kind of weddings you do here? Please show us some pictures. Once you see those pictures, you will get an idea of, acha, in this lawn, they usually put the mandap here. Why do they put the mandap here? Oh, it's away from the food, okay, we won't get smells here. Oh, okay, people won't be crowding around. There is a logical flow to how these event planners and decorators work. And that needs to be followed. So only when you see the pictures of the kind of weddings they have already done, will you be able to visualize what works in that particular venue. Of course, you're free to change everything around as per your aesthetics. They are also professionals, so they kind of know what works and why. So for example, at my best friend's wedding, we had a beautiful poolside venue and we wanted a photo booth, like we all do. So we got this lovely Instagram kind of cutout photo booth and we placed it behind the pool, because we had this, fabulous idea in mind that we'll have the blue waters as the foreground, and people didn't realize that that's a photo booth. Nobody went there because you had to walk around the pool to go there, and it just kind of got missed. People saw it from a distance, very nice, but no one realized that you're supposed to go there, make the effort and get pictures done. So which is why it's important to see pictures of the venue and how people have already done weddings over there. Okay. Secondly, again, Pinterest, Wedmaker, Instagram, all of these give you millions of pictures at your fingertips. So go through a lot of these pictures, see what you like. For the mental piece of your decorator, keep saving all these pictures, and you can't just go to them and show swipe, acha mujhe ye bhi pasand hai, mujhe ye bhi pasand hai. They'll also go crazy, right? Imagine they're dealing with 30 brides like you in a month, right? So what I did for my wedding planning and what I recommend all of you should do is just make a simple PowerPoint presentation. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just say, my wedding decor. Put down 5 entry decor options that you like. Okay, I like this rustic door. Okay, I like this canopy of lights. Okay, I like just a simple canopy kind of thing. Put down 5 options there. Next thing, mandap, because the mandap is of course going to be your focal point. The mandap is the thing that ends up costing you the most in terms of the decor. So put down 4-5 mandap options. Or you're just sold on one, ke nahi, mujhe to yahi chahiye, I will do this one only. Fine, fair enough, you're the bride, do what you want. Food area, tables, chairs. What kind of chairs do you like? What kind of tiles should be on the chairs? What kind of tablecloth? What kind of centerpiece floral arrangements? Are you having a stage or not? What kind of backdrop for the stage? Are you having a live performer? They will need a separate stage. What is the height of the stage? Those are the requirements you'll get from the artist, of course, but you need to think of all these elements. So irrespective of whether it's a day wedding or a night wedding, you need to find a color theme or any motif or something that's close and personal to you, and find that as a running pattern through your functions, because I always feel that is the simplest and the nicest way of personalizing it and making it easier in your own head how you can go about it, right? So at this point of time where you're still 4 months away from your wedding, where your mind is still sane, make these lists, chalk it out so that you're also free, so that your decorator also has a clear idea of what is this bride looking for. Are you looking for a rustic wedding? Are you looking for an English theme? Are you looking for a pin type of ghada, matka, charpai, kite kind of thing? Are you looking for something very simple? I don't want tamjham, I just want beautiful linen and I want the focus to be on flowers. It could be anything. Every person with every budget, with every kind of wedding wants something different. So pick what you want. Put it down and then go discuss with the decorator. Say, okay, these are the kind of things I have in mind. Is this feasible? How much will this roughly cost me? Have you done something like this? Please show me the pictures. So that is how you go about visualizing the decor for your wedding venue.
You know what? I am feeling so happy that you got married earlier.
Badi behnon ke fayde. Okay, any other questions that are troubling you?
How should I decide my wedding footwear?
Oh, excellent question. Your wedding footwear. अंदर की बात बताऊं, it does not matter two hoots. The only thing that matters about your wedding footwear is it should be new, because for the pheras you kind of have to take them off, so it'll look rather sad if the bride is wearing everything else nice and shabby footwear. Okay, so I got my footwear customized, but I wasn't very happy with it. It just looked really nice, it had bride inscribed on it and everything, but it wasn't very sturdy. And on my Sangeet function, my shoe broke. Real life story. And I was dancing and my shoe broke. So just make sure you're going for something really good quality, and it does not matter. If you're comfortable in high heels and pencil heels, please be my guest, go for it. There's nothing sexier than that. But for all other brides who are not so comfortable with heels, just go in for wedges, because those are the most comfortable things. You definitely need heels. Depending on your height, of course, you need at least 4-inch high heels for your lehenga to fall properly. Just go in for plain gold, like a metallic gold kind of wedge, because like I've always said, you attach the word wedding or bridal to anything and the cost jumps at least 4 times, right? So you go to any of your shoe stores in Delhi and your bridal range with the nugs will start at 8,000, which is a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a pair of shoes that you're never going to wear again. Go to any normal shoe store, whether it's a Kalaniketan or a Venus or Metro, any of these, find a comfortable pair of wedges and you feel free to repeat them on your Sangeet and your Shadi, because under the lehenga, nothing shows. Maybe put quality as number one. Put quality as number one, comfort, and that's it. It really doesn't matter how fancy your footwear is, because who's looking at your footwear? Just let it be nice, neat, clean for when you take it off. That's it.
That's great, and I'm feeling so relieved,
I'm so glad I was able to help out this little bride of mine, and hopefully all of you as well. Make sure you leave your comments down below. Ask me anything you want. I'm more than happy to help out all you brides to be. This is something I love doing, and this is something I'm more than happy to spread the knowledge wealth about. Keep coming back to my channel every Wednesday and Saturday. Until next time.